Bushra, who come along with the, a very small, short notice. She accepted our invitation, and we would like, I would like to thank Aftab Imam Sahab, who is District Governor of Rotary, Ahmed Nafis Sahab, Chairman Board MPAC, Nasir Bajaj Sahab, Sameer, Javed Bhai Sharma ji, and especially thanks to Fran, who came from British High Commission. He's a trade manager. Zaid Ansari Sahab, Amr, and Alia. Thank you, Dr. Alia, President Rotary Town, and President, of MPAC also. So, Mr. Muslim is also the family of MPAC, Mr. Alia, Naman. Thank you, everyone. I know it's a fourth day of Eid. Everybody has engaged with the family commitment, but you all made it for especially for youngest, who was elected, and for her. And it's a special thanks for her. She'll be here with us, and it's a pride of Pakistan that she became our first youngest Muslim lady of elected as a in the election, and looking forward to hear from her also. And as you know, MPAC is like a family, and we are working in different capacities, especially when we talk about bilateral trade, and when we talk about humanity. So MPAC family is always come forward, step forward to do the things. And recently we signed 5 MOUs from American company, and we are looking forward more bilateral trade from America. And same time we are speaking from the UK British High Commission also, that we will make one forum and bring more company, more investor in Pakistan, because Pakistan much needed this thing. And we are the people who are very energetic, and we are the people are can work hard, and acceptance is there, and much needed in Pakistan, that companies come here and work with us, and we can work together and grow together. I just heard you were working with Google, so we would like to invite Google family also in Pakistan, that they can come and invest in Pakistan and create more jobs. And this is one of the best opportunity for Pakistan also, and American companies also, because this is very now the situation, the things are very easy because of the new government, and especially the Imran Khan. She's very working hard to bring in investor from abroad. So same time, if I talk about, I was talking about humanity. So we work in NICVD, we work for the Darul Sukoon, we work for the Indus Hospital, we work for so many organizations, especially for own Pakistan, where we are teaching underprivileged children also in the same time. As I talk about the Rotary, I'm a deputy governor of Rotary, and my governor is sitting next to me. So we always think first humanity, and then the other things. As Rotary is working in many areas, so same time in collaboration with MPAC and Rotary, we are working together, and we are doing a lot of things for the humanity and charity work. And very soon Aftab bhai will be tell you more about Rotary, more what is this year we are coming with the new projects. He will talk about that. Thank you very much everyone again for spare time in such a small notice, and thank you Ms. Bushra, Aftab Imam Sahab, District Governor, Ahmed Nafis Sahab. Thank you so much for coming down, spare time for this special event in the honor of Ms. Bushra. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to request Bushra herself to tell us what kind of office you are holding and what other achievement of yours Please, thank you.
Absolutely. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Sorry, there's an echo. Hopefully it's not me. My name is Bushra Amiwala, and I carry the title of being the youngest Muslim elected official in the United States. And I first ran for public office when I was 19 years old and a freshman in college. And ultimately, I lost my first election. And I think it's really important to share that because a lot of the times people see success and they forget the journey that comes with that. So I currently serve on the Board of Education for Skokie School District 73 and a half. I think it's these mics. Yeah, in dono ko hata. Acha. Better? Okay. Say again? Okay. I serve on the Board of Education for Skokie School District 73 and a half. And basically some of the things that I've been able to accomplish while serving on the Board of Education is that we were able to bring halal lunches to every school in our district, which is something I'm very proud of because we always had kosher food for the Jewish students, but we never had an advocate from the Muslim community to advocate for why we need halal food as well. So I'm very proud that we have that food offered for our Muslim students in those schools as well. Another thing that I wanted to highlight that what I've been able to accomplish on the board is that prior to me getting elected, the only thing taught in history books about Muslims was 9/11, and that was it. So I wanted to highlight the positive contributions of Muslim Americans in history and in society. Everything from art, science, math, technology, literature. Muslims have done so much in the face of positivity, yet that's not what's being highlighted. So I gave a 2-minute speech in front of the Illinois General Assembly, which is equivalent to the parliament in the state of Illinois. And it passed, and now in every single school in the state of Illinois, it is mandatory for them to teach the positive contributions of Muslim Americans in history, which is something I'm very, very proud of. Thank you. And I will humbly share some of my accomplishments and highlights and things that outside of just politically and policy-wise that I've been able to bring forth. So I've been on the cover of Time magazine. I was Glamour magazine's College Woman of the Year. I've met Kamala Harris a handful of times. Had volunteered on her campaign as well, and she invited me when she came to the city of Chicago. There are 3 documentaries about me, one on Amazon, one on Hulu, one on PBS. So alhamdulillah, got a lot of really exciting media attention when I ran for public office. And I don't want to bore you all with too much of that, but I'm happy to answer any questions if people have any to make this an engaging discussion. If not, I'm gladly able to wrap up my comments there, but wanted to share 2 positive things that I've been able to make forth change-wise on the board, and then some of the exciting national and international fame and media attention that I've received. So thank you all very, very much for this wonderful gathering. Thank you, Zishan Bhai, for hosting this. This has been amazing to see so many affluent and successful and like-minded individuals here in a certain space. Thank you, Wajahat Bhai, Sayyid Wajahat Bhai, for connecting us. I feel like if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even have known any of these people, so thank you for all of that. And I feel like I could individually name all of you and share the positive contributions that you all had, from arranging a ride for me to working with my busy schedule. My flight is actually tonight back to Chicago, so that's why it's been such short notice. But my trip to Pakistan has been truly a memorable one. The parliament in Islamabad recognized my arrival as well. So the entire assembly in Islamabad, Pakistan also announced that I was here, which is something that I'm super proud of as well. And got to meet with a lot of members and ministers and executives within the National Assembly too. So thank you all for listening to my comments and my remarks, and I'm very looking forward to this discussion and program that we have today. So thank you.
you very much, Bushra. It was amazing, and I hope
what you have accomplished in terms of halal food, serving of halal food, and more than that, the contribution done by Muslims. Like you said, we have included that in the curriculum. That's amazing, and that was very important, because that's the true face of Islam. And when you spoke in the assembly there, Congress, Congress, you told them what Islam is actually. So you are the face of Islam in the United States.
Thank you.
And your contribution is hugely great. You know, I cannot extol it, praise it more. And with this attitude, I know you do lots and lots. And this very thing, I'm sure, is going to be emulated in other states as well. And you have done wonders, mashallah. And I wish you, on behalf of all the Pakistanis and all the retractors and Rotarians, I wish you all the best. And may you rise more and become a congresswoman and whatnot.
Thank you.
Maybe the first president of the United States. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Governor, for your kind words.
To be very honest, while you were giving your speech, I had a question in mind. Obviously, that's what's more appealing to us is basically the journey. Obviously, when you, like in Pakistan, when you talk about politics, there is definitely a discussion in the house whether we should go into it or not. So I don't know, being a Pakistani, so I don't know how was it at your end, especially when you came up to your parents and like, you know, that if I want to go into it or not. So a journey of that sort, if you could highlight that.
Absolutely. I think that's a really, really good question. And specifically because I think it's one that we all can relate to. So no one specifically in the Pakistani community and or even South Asian, Desi, Indian communities was involved in politics in the U.S. Our families hadn't seen or heard of anyone of that ethnic background and origin who had been involved in politics. So when I wanted to run for public office, I asked my parents, and my mom said no. And my dad said, why not? He said, why not us? And he was extremely encouraging and had words of encouragement and reasons why I should do something like this. And my mom eventually came around and became one of my greatest supporters and biggest fans. And it's really hard because to this day, people come up to my parents and say things like, iski shadi nahi hogi, right? Like people say things like that, and it's really hard to hear. And I think I wanted to have a very authentic conversation with all of you, which is why I share things like that. But alhamdulillah, the impact that I've been able to make, I think speaks for itself, and I may be the first, but I definitely won't be the last, inshallah.
Of changing the perception about Muslims after 9/11. So we all know that the image of like typical Muslims in the States is not where it should be right now. And obviously people are coming, ahead, how they're perceived, in other countries. So I know from the UK's perspective that a lot of Muslims are doing a great amount of work in the UK, and so I've been involved with that kind of stuff myself. In the UK, so we face a lot of challenges, but though UK is a very small country compared to the US. So obviously I'm just looking forward to that area. If there's anything that you guys are doing, we have to sort of replicate that in the UK. So, yeah.
That's a phenomenal question. Thank you so much for asking and for thoughtfully articulating that. So one of the things that I highlighted in my remarks was that 9/11 was the only thing taught about Muslims in education. So highlighting the positive contributions of Muslims in history, showcasing that they have been able to do things such as inventing chemistry, to inventing algebra, to inventing coffee. It was all a Muslim person. So highlighting that was one step. So alhamdulillah, already have been able to accomplish that. The second thing that I have found to be most appalling when running for office and getting involved in this industry and in this field was the media and the way media portrayed Muslims. So the media, for example, portrayed Muslims as either the perpetrators of violence or the victims of violence. And Muslims were shared as either, and every time a Muslim was shared as a hero, they were brought down 10 notches before they could rise 5. right? Like, how can we make this person seem less than what they are before we can show them as a leader? And I found people do that to me as well. They would say, this is Bushra, the poor Muslim girl hurt by the Trump administration, and now she's running for public office, when there was no correlation between the two, right? I wanted to run for office because I wanted to make a difference and an impact in my community, and found that the best way to make long-term tangible change is through public policy. So I wear the hijab in the United States, and I think being unapologetically Muslim, right? It's being Muslim is a part of my title. I'm not just the youngest woman. I'm not just, the first this. I'm the youngest Muslim woman, or the youngest Muslim elected person in general. So that title went down in the Chicago History Museum as well. So things like that, those little elements, I think make a huge impact and difference into the narrative and perception that people have. So thank you for your question.
Our governor also asked, make a comment on that.
Yeah, like you said right now, that the Muslim heroes in history, they bring them down 10 notches. Like when I was there at Penn, I was invited to a gathering where they were praising Salahuddin Ayyubi, Salahuddin, And when they asked me, I said, no, I didn't like what you were saying about Salahuddin, because that's not enough. You are only extolling, praising one man. No house in Jerusalem was violated. No, it was not entered at all, And I said, it's not one man. You see, it was the Middle Ages, and if that army, the victorious army entered Jerusalem, and they obeyed Salahuddin, that means that what he was saying was in accordance with their teachings of Islam. So every foot soldier obeyed him. Otherwise, the victorious army disobeyed Alexander the Great in India, because what he was saying was against what they wanted. So the whole army, down to the last footman, obeyed Salahuddin and did not violate any house. The spoils belonged to the victor, but they did not enter any house. No woman was raped, or there was no rapine. No house was looted, and that means that the whole society was like that. And what he said to the soldiers was in accordance with their teachings of Islam and the Prophet ﷺ. So this you can tell them that, see, that army did not do that in the Middle Ages, when it was a norm to devastate and loot and rapine whenever they entered the city. So and they agreed to it. Okay, you imagine, if you have to pray, don't praise one man. Praise that society and that teaching of Islam. That is the true face of Islam. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Zahid Ansari. It's a great honor and pride for us. Muslims who have taken the public office after election, or the graph has gone up or down, especially the ladies, or there have been some more differences. Just wanted to.
That's a really good question, and just to repeat it, the question was, has there been a difference, whether it be a rise or decline, in Muslims' involvement in political process and engagement, specifically elected office? So Congressman Keith Ellison was the first Muslim elected to Congress in the United States, and that happened in a post 9/11 world. I don't think that 9/11 increased civic engagement or participation. If anything, I think it denounced it, because people were scared of the perceptions that would come from that. But now we're in 2021, where we have have had 4 Muslims in Congress, right? 2 specific Muslim women right now, Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. So I think if you see the numbers, it technically has increased, but I think that people were scared in getting involved after 9/11, because it was not encouraged, right? Islamophobia increased a great deal after 9/11. And that's a fact. That's something that can't be denied. It's something that happens at the micro level. It's everything from a microaggression, from someone treating you differently because you're a Muslim, to someone escalating something to violence, and everything in between. So I think over time there has been more engagement, and I think that as 9/11 is further away in history, it is easier for people to get involved in politics and get initiated in that process, because it's no longer the only thing branding Muslims in the United States. Thank you.
And very few Muslims and very fewer Pakistanis. So do you have a problem with that?
That's a great question. I think something that's important to know is that the migration from India happened at a greater speed than it did the migration from Pakistan, right? Pakistan itself was created as of, almost 100 years ago, per se. So there have been lots of migration coming. So people of Indian descent and origin, they have that title. So that's one of the reasons why there are so many Indians of the Indian ethnic origin and background dispersed throughout the United States. However, there is an Indo-American Democratic Organization, but there is no Pakistani American Democratic Organization in the United States. I serve on the board of the Indo-American Democratic Organization because it is the longest standing South Asian organization, and they brought me on as a Pakistani with open arms because we believe in building bridges and serving as coalitions, because we aren't just Pakistanis, we aren't just Indians, we're Pakistani Americans. We're Indian Americans. So we hold that bridge between ourselves and realize that we're stronger together than we are separate. So alhamdulillah, there hasn't been any pushback from the Indian community as of me getting elected. I feel like I've been an advocate for the Indian community as well. Because of me, Diwali is now a holiday on the school calendar that never was before. So Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, Ramadan, Rosh Hashanah for the Jewish students, Yom Kippur for the Jewish students, and Diwali for the Hindu students are all holidays that I brought on the school calendar. So I try to not be an advocate for just the Muslim community or just the Pakistani community, but all communities, because they all unified elected me to public office. Thank you. And I may be a reflection, right? In a mirror, you see a reflection of the Pakistani or the Muslim community, but I want to be a representative of all communities, and that's been my motto upon getting elected. Thank you.
How you can be a bridge between two countries to help Pakistan by bilateral, trade and exchange the culture and do some humanitarian work together as a Rotarian, as a MPAC, as a we have a company. We are all individuals, entrepreneur, businessmen who are working hard and do CSR activities we are doing. So how you can be a part of this, venture?
So something that I've heard a lot on my trip to Pakistan has been the soft image of Pakistan and promoting that. So I think that's something that as a Pakistani American I can do at all times. It's showcasing loud and proud that I'm a Pakistani American, right? People see me and they're like, oh, is she Indian? Is she Turkish? Is she Arabic? And I'm like, no, I'm Pakistani. And you say that loud and proud, and a lot of people, you'll be surprised, in the United States don't know what Pakistan is. And it sounds ridiculous to us, but that's the truth. And that's why we become ambassadors of our own countries when we're in a foreign land. And that's what I do. So for example, when I hosted a fundraising dinner, because it costs a lot of money to run for public office, I sold tickets for $50. And I served Pakistani food. You had people who were white, Hispanic, black, African American, East Asian, ethnic Asian, and we served biryani, right? Not just any biryani, Pakistani biryani, right? So it's showcasing those little instances and aspects as well, and the everyday things. I call it everyday leadership, and everyday leadership will bring us forward, inshallah.
Thank you.